This is Annie Gabrielli, and I just did an interview at the Zach Sang Show. We talked about my career, we talked about me, we talked about some experiences of mine, and we just had some fun.
Hello, beautiful human. My name is Zach. That is Dan.
Yep.
And we welcome to the studio for the first time, Ani.
Yes.
Gabrielli?
You got it.
Let's go.
Yes.
Annie Gabrielli in the house.
Wow, you say it and it sounds so much better.
Well, yeah, it's the accent, it's the sauce. The Brazilian sauce.
Can you say it again?
Annie Gabrielli.
Oh.
Wow.
You try it.
Ani Gabrielli?
That's pretty good.
Hey,
That's pretty good.
you're from Brazil.
Yes, I am.
There's a beautiful accent that people from Brazil have that, like, I mean, I could try my whole life. I'll never have it.
Well, it's close enough.
I have so many questions for you, sister. One,
Right.
Well, because we're about to. You're about to write a new chapter that I want to talk about a little bit, but also I really want to know about Now United, and I also have the most questions about you because you're really fascinating.
Huh. Wow, I already feel great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Do you not consider yourself fascinating?
I mean, I consider myself fascinating. I like to think that I'm fascinating, but hearing it from other people is kind of cool.
It's
You know,
validating,
right?
Well, because correct me if I'm wrong. You grew up in Sao Paulo,
I did.
and you're raised mostly by your grandma and your aunt.
I mean, my mom is also, she was there, but there was like turbulent times. So I was like moving around a lot, let's say like that.
Your mom, based on the story that I heard from you, your mom finds like a new boyfriend or whatever, seedy stuff. She ends up being pulled. You get pulled from her.
Yeah, that happened for a
That's,
second.
I mean, traumatizing, but you're young.
Yeah, I was like 6, 7 when that happened. So I was really little, and like there were so many family issues, and I was so little to understand everything that was going on. So till this day is like I have this weird perspective towards everything that happened. But yeah, that happened, and when I was pulled away from her, I lived with my aunt and my grandmother for a bit, and that's actually where my aunt found out that I could sing, and that's where it all like started.
So your aunt is also a singer herself, right?
She is. She at the time she used to mainly work with musical theater. So she had done a bunch of like courses and studied a lot and all of these different Broadway shows and yeah.
She's a judge on a singing competition show in Brazil.
Nowadays she is, yes.
So when so she's not a singing judge when you move in with her when you're 6,
No,
7?
she was she is a singer. She does everything. So she can sing in whatever setup, but at the time she was mainly doing musical theater because that's like where her heart is, I guess.
And is this the first time that you're like really subjected to music every day consistently from somebody who's actually creating it in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really, at the time, I didn't really know anything about it. Like, I didn't know that I could sing. I didn't know. And she kind of like figured it out because I used to just sing for fun at the house. And then she just heard it and she's like, oh, this could be something, She started teaching me for fun. I used to sing like some Disney songs, and then eventually I was working.
And okay, when did your mom re-enter your life?
Not long after that, actually. It took just, let's say like a year later. And then our relationship kind of had to like grow back to what it was. But she really, really, really took the time after that to really help me out with my career. So she was like, she had to leave her job and kind of like take me to the auditions and to rehearsals all the time. So she really dedicated a lot of her time to my career. And then when it started working, I started to be able to give back, So like we were in a really bad financial situation at the time, and I was able to like get us a house. And
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that was so cool. I mean, we started building a comfortable place for ourselves and not so much struggling,
Did
That was
you did you know or have any dream of being a singer or performer before you moved in with your aunt and your grandma?
I guess I just was. That's really interesting. But I was always so like, like, look at me. And I would like to dance all the time in the living room. And I would just be watching movies and trying to recreate the scenes. So I had it in me, but I never really took it as I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Like at the time I was like, I'm going to be a doctor, like it's just so random.
But your aunt heard you and was like, I'm going to bring this out in you.
Yeah. My grandpa was listening to like opera in the house, and I was just doing what I heard. Like I was trying to do the same thing, and then she's like, "Wow, you can actually you have like pitch, you know?" So she started just teaching me little things, and I I'm such a perfectionist. Even when I was a kid, I was already like that. So she was teaching me, and I was like so dedicated, even though at the time I didn't even know that I was going to actually do this for the rest of my life. But I was like, no, I need to be the best singer in the world, you know? So I was just like really working hard to make sure that I was really good. And then she took me to an audition, and I got in. It was the audition for The Lion King when the Broadway version came to Brazil.
That's what your aunt took you? Was that your first audition?
That was my first audition in life. I know.
Huge.
I know. And she was like, I'm just going to take her because it was so many people running for the role of young Nala. And she's like, I'm just going to take her just so she can have the experience and see if she actually likes it. I don't think anybody expected for it to work out the way it did, you know? And I was just like, I was nervous, obviously, but it was just fun for me, you know? I was just like, oh, this is new, this is exciting. And then, yeah, I remember like a massive line and so many talented theater kids that like grew up into that. And then the audition came. I just got through the first phase, second phase, third phase, and then we just get a call saying like, hey, you're in. Like, you're actually going to do it.
And at what point are you, like, at what stage in the process of bringing young Nala to life does your mom re-enter your life?
She was like, she got back to my life like a little bit before the show actually started. Yeah, so she kind of saw a little bit of the audition process, and she was always rooting for me. A little bit apart still, but she was there. She was there.
What do they have you doing for those auditions?
Oh, so many things. I mean, as a kid, they're so much nicer, and I learned that as I grew up. But I was like 8 when I started the auditions, and they give you pieces of choreography, and sometimes they give you a song, or sometimes you just go in and you sing in front of people. But it is already like a lot of pressure because you just enter a room and there's a bunch of like men. They're really like angry, just looking at you and waiting for you to sing, and you know that you have to be good. And then after you sing and you dance and you do maybe a scene that they give you, you just wait. And sometimes they will tell you like on the spot, like, yeah, you're in, you're out. And then that kind of like messes with you when you're a kid, you know? Mm-hmm. But they were nice. They were nice at The Lion King. I had like worse experiences in auditions. I had people going like, next, you know, like, those are brutal.
Oh, that must hurt.
Yeah, those are brutal.
Do you think if you didn't end up living with your grandma and your aunt that like music would have ever come through in the way that it has?
I think music would find me, or I would find music eventually, because I don't know, like now that I'm older and I look back, I see everything. It was always there. Like music was always a part of me. I was always performing around. So like at some point I would have figured it out, but not in the timing, you know, like the timing wouldn't have been so perfect if that didn't happen. So even though it was like a hard time for my family and for me as a kid, it was still so important for the rest of my life. I think it was just meant to be.
Well, because The Lion King really does change your life, right?
Oh, yeah.
After that, you go and you star in a children's TV show.
Yeah.
Something about adventure, right?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Boo, chamado pra aventura. It's like Boo, a calling for adventure.
That's it. You were Chica?
Yeah. That's the name of the girl.
But after that, well, because Disney knows you from The Lion King, you end up becoming Moana for Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
That's not casual.
That's definitely not casual. I was 13 when that happened. And it's not so much connected to Lion King. It was just like, at that point, I had been in the industry for a couple of years. And I knew a couple people. And they just mentioned my name to this audition that was going on for this Disney princess. And the age group for the audition was kind of like 16 to 19, and I was 13 at the time, but they still heard me sing, and they're like, oh, bring her in, let's see what happens. And that was my first time doing voice acting. So I remember doing the songs, and I felt kind of good after the songs. I was like, okay, I got a shot here. And then when I had to do the talking, it was my first time. The director was so like strict. He's awesome, but his poker face is wow, like he's really good at it. So I could never tell if I was doing good or if I was doing terrible. And it took kind of longer than expected in the audition. So I remember leaving the room being like, oh my God, I just destroyed my reputation here. Like, this is awful. And And it turns out that they were like, wow, this is great. And I just got the part and I was Moana. And it took 3 months for them to just tell me that I was Moana.
Wow. What is it like to record the entire movie?
It is
in another language, because you have to dub it, so you have to match your voice to what they're already saying in English, because they're not going to go and reanimate it.
Exactly. It was so new to me in the beginning, but I got the hang of it pretty easy, because it's like, it's close to acting, you know, but there's just like a couple of things that you learn along the way. But it's definitely fun. It's definitely fun. Like the things that I would do just to access the perfect pitch or the perfect intonation or whatever it was really like funny. Like sometimes I would have to just do a frown face or you know, or just bite onto something depending on the scene. But it is a lot of focus, because like you said, I'm listening to someone speaking English in my headphones, and I am reading the words in Portuguese, and a lot of the times we have to just kind of scratch it because it doesn't match the lip syncing or whatever. And the scenes weren't fully animated at the time. So Moana, a lot of the times would be like bald or naked, you know, or just like little, it wasn't Moana. She wasn't Moana yet. So there's like a time code and this weird animation going on. So you just really have to focus and make sure that you're saying it on the right time. And it was just like 3 months of a lot of work in the studio.
That's wild.
It is.
Pretty cool.
It is cool.
If you were to watch Moana today, would you watch your version or the English version?
I watched the English version. I really like it too, but I always watch myself. Like I usually don't like to watch myself. Like I don't watch my interviews. I don't listen to a lot of things that I do because I'm so like judgy. So I'm gonna be judging. I'm like, oh, I should have done this. Should have done that.
Yeah, but this is you, but not you.
Yeah, this is like different. I don't know. Every time I watch it, I'm always like, oh my God, I'm a Disney princess, you know? And I like to bring in my family and my friends to watch it with me. So yeah, Portuguese all the way.
That's interesting. Was the director like not in Brazil working with you or what?
No, he was. There's a lot of directing that comes from America.
Yeah.
Because everything has to go through America. But the director was there in Brazil with me. And it's so interesting. Like when we're doing a Disney princess, it's so intricate. Like every single breath matters. So we're doing like word by word, sometimes line by line, and like they're so specific. So sometimes it's just like this little thing, and we have to change because someone in America didn't like the way I was breathing on this one scene.
But also that's why I say that Lion King and Moana are connected, because I know for a fact that like they have like files on every human being in every part of the world that's ever auditioned for them. So when they go back and have to recast people, they can look through their files and see like, oh, we saw X thousands of girls who can speak Portuguese who are in Brazil. And there's no way they don't.
They didn't associate. Yeah, they probably.
Oh, they definitely did.
Yeah.
They definitely did.
A lot of people asked me if I was Moana because I looked like her. But
it wouldn't really matter. No offense.
I mean, I look like Moana, but I'm like, that's not why, but it's just such a coincidence. But like one of the girls that was running for the role as well, she's like a redhead. So I was like, I always say that, I'm like, see, no, it's not just because I look like her.
But you'd make a good live action Moana.
Do you hear that, Disney?
Put that one out there.
Yeah.
You should. Also, like the amount of redheads in Brazil, I don't think anybody really understands. There's a lot of redheaded people in Brazil.
Yeah. There's...
I've hooked up with a few of them. They're great.
Oh, really?
You have.
I have.
That's awesome.
All right.
I have. I mean, freckles, like the whole thing.
No, I just I wasn't expecting that. Caught me off guard.
So I'm like, oh.
Okay.
Me kissing anybody catches people off guard. No, but I was really surprised that there were so many. I had no idea. And I had a foreign exchange student that lived with us for a year. My brother, he was born and raised in Sao Paulo.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you visited?
No, I've never been.
Oh. Wait, then how did you meet those?
They were here in America, and then my foreign exchange student brother came here.
Okay. So you just like
I just know the culture from the people.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, but a lot of Brazil there's so many stereotypes when it comes to Brazil, and I recently actually had like a bar table conversation with some friends, and I'm like, what do you think of Brazil? I'm actually really curious to know, and they're like, nature, like I feel like I'm gonna see cheetahs. And I'm like, what? Like, no, you're not gonna see cheetahs and jungle everywhere and like birds flying around. I'm like, what? No. And it's the same with people. Everyone thinks that Brazilian people look a lot like me, which can't happen. But we have a lot of blondes when you go to the south, like blue-eyed people and redheads and just all kinds of people. Brazil is a very, very mixed country. Everywhere you go, it's almost like a different country.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And like the place that I grew up in, it's São Paulo. It's actually very much like New York. It's like lots of buildings. I mean, I wouldn't say like I don't know how to say that in English, but it's like it doesn't look like New York, but
it's aesthetically not New York, but the energy.
Yes, the energy. It's so New York. It's like so many buildings and restaurants all around, and it's just like this concrete jungle, and it's like everyone's working all the time, and nobody expects that really. Everyone just expects a beach and just the jungle, and I'm just raising monkeys in my house.
You're like, no, this is not the Lion King.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, no, we're normal.
Do you feel a responsibility to educate people like me on what Brazil is and what it has to offer?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a responsibility that I can definitely choose to take on or not, but I chose to do it. Like there's not a lot of Brazilian people out there actually showing that Brazil is so diverse.
It really isn't.
Yeah. And I feel like as a Brazilian, I've seen so many amazing things that the world is missing out, So every opportunity that I get or like any platform that I'm in, I just try to show a little bit, and hopefully they'll see Brazil just like Brazilian people do,
I think that little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Now United, it's 14 members.
Yeah.
14 different countries.
I mean, 18, yeah.
Oh, 18?
18. Yeah, it started as 14, but we are always adding people.
Okay, so what is this thing? And how do they find you post Moana?
Yeah, so after Moana, I took this moment in my life to just like find out what I wanted to do next, So I was just like really focusing on dancing and like working on my skills. And I was at this dance studio in Brazil, and I saw this like flyer, and it was saying like, be part of a pop group that is like international and is managed by Simon Fuller. And so like I looked up, I Googled, I did my homework, and like I've seen everything that Simon Fuller has done before, and that was definitely an opportunity to just like step out of Brazil as well. And then the auditions happened in the dance studio that I was in. And again, I wasn't in the right age group. I was like turning 14 at the time, and it was 16 to 19 again, but I still went. I just showed up.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God I did. It's just like when opportunities are there, I just go for them, because even though I was like a little scared, I was just like, what do I have to lose,
Yeah, the worst they're going to say is no.
No, exactly. That's what I think.
And at that point, you were conditioned to hearing no already, so like whatever, get in line.
Yeah, I'm like, let's just try. And then I sang Valerie by Amy Winehouse because I decided to do the audition like the night before, because I was just like, no, I'm not in the age group. And then I'm like, oh, you know what, whatever, I'm just gonna show up tomorrow. And then I had nothing else prepared, so I'm like, let's just go with a song that you like to sing, that you vibe with, and that's definitely a song that I vibe with. So I just showed up and sang Valerie, and I remember the talent scout person that was there, it was just crying. And I'm like, that's a happy song. Like, did I do something wrong? Like, she's supposed to be dancing with me right now. And she was just like, oh, crying. And then I told her I was 13. And she just gave me this, like, oh, damn, like, you're not good for this project, but here's my phone number. Like, maybe we'll work together again. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, we're just going to try you out a little more. And they just started, like, getting a little bit more interested in where we could go.
How did they explain to you what Now United was going to be? Because I'm assuming you joined with nobody, right?
Yeah, there was nothing yet. I'm like one of the OG members. So there were 14 of us, and at the same time that I was doing my auditions in Brazil, there was other people doing the auditions in their countries
all
as
over
well.
The world.
Yeah, all over the world. So Senegal, Germany, Russia, everywhere. We had this boot camp in LA that was like the last audition phase. and they brought all of us with other people from our own country. So like I had to kind of like compete with other girls.
So it's like
too.
you and how many girls from Brazil come to LA?
There were just one more. There was just one more girl that came from Brazil, but in certain countries there would be like 4 people from that country. So yeah. And then we all got together in Center Staging, Burbank, in California, and we all had this 1 week long audition, and that was definitely the most intense week of my life. I mean, it was so much. We had dance lessons, we had fittings, we had photo shoots, we had interviews and studio sessions. It was just like crazy, and all these crazy names from the industry that we just grow up looking up to, you know, especially if you're not in the United States. They seem so like far from you, and then we're just all doing that audition with all of them. And at the end of the week, Simon just decides to sit down and just, I'm gonna tell you guys now who's in the group and who's not.
Oh, wow.
I know. And everyone was just sitting together and we didn't expect it. And then he just started naming the people and I was among them. And
Are you watching people cry? Are you watching their hearts be broken while you're also getting your dream?
yeah.
What is that like?
I don't know.
Must be a weird feeling.
It is. It's like you want to scream out, but you don't because you're like, I have to be respectful, you know? But I feel like everyone that was there knew that there would be a chance of them not coming in the group.
Totally.
So I feel like we were all ready to lose as well.
You prepared yourself for that?
I mean, definitely. Not really.
Nah, it seems like I'm making this big.
I don't like to count with failure. I do count with it, but it's a small percentage of me that counts with failure because I just want to give my all, and hopefully that'll give me the results.
You control your effort, not the outcome.
Exactly. So I just go through it all thinking like, I'm in this thing, like I got this, I'm the best there is. Like I really try to push myself to just believe that I'm in and it's all good. And if I didn't make it, then I didn't make it, you know, like, okay, I really worked hard, I gave it my all, but I just don't like to count with it, you know. I just don't like to count with failure. But yeah, then after a second where we all celebrated, I looked awful, by the way, like when I was just crying because that was literally like a life-changing moment. That was really a really big step in my career.
Huge. I mean, you go on to perform in the biggest stadiums I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're massive. It's like so many people, and I could only dream of that. Like,
but what did they tell you this was? Like because it is a new concept to say we're gonna have 4. It's a huge fucking group. Like
it is.
I mean, there's no K-pop. There's barely K-pop groups that big.
Yeah. Simon is a really brave man.
Yeah, how do you all travel?
Yeah, it's a circus when we travel. But
do you charter a plane or do you?
No, we just go in a plane like a regular plane.
Southwest.
They literally book out the half of Southwest just to get you guys around.
Yeah, that's literally how it goes. And it's like there was a point where we were all traveling in uniforms. So
you
or
could
like
tell.
these track suits, and then everyone in the airport would be like, "Oh, are you guys a sports team?" And we would love to say that we're a ping pong team, and we would just like tell this whole story about the championship. None of us know how to play ping pong, but it was just the best.
So how did they describe this thing to you? Like, how did they make it sound? How did they define what you were going to be a part of or even auditioning for?
They said it was a pop group from the beginning. They mentioned that it was an international pop group where there would be a bunch of members from different countries. And we knew that we were going to be making music and traveling the world. So that's all the information we had, really. Like, we didn't know much about anything. We just knew about the messaging, really, like uniting people through music, which is a really powerful concept if you think about it. You know, like we're literally from all different countries and all different religions, and we're like, we live together. We traveled the world together. We did all of this together. So that was like the end goal.
What do you learn about yourself from living with people from all over the world and making music and even the audition process?
Oh, so much. I learned so much. I could never summarize it, but I think the most valuable lesson I got from Night United is definitely perspective. Because being with all these people from different places in the world, they all approach the same thing so differently. And I guess I just had to like live with that, because I am a very like assertive person, I guess. Like if I know what I want, I'm gonna tell you, you know, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna, and other people do it in a different way, and I kind of have to like adapt and like mold to all of these ways of living, and not actually being like, oh yeah, this person's this person's that, this is wrong, this is right. No, it's just like kind of like understanding and seeing things through their eyes. That was like the biggest tool I got in life, because being in the entertainment business, we know we have to work with so many people and just like know how to work with them, you know. So that's a very valuable lesson, and yeah, just so much.
Do you make friends in this group that you think will be your friend 50 years from now?
Definitely. I mentioned that I started the audition process when I was almost 14. Now I'm 19, and everybody knows that this age gap in life, it's like so important. We're learning
You're a sponge.
so much, right? You're learning things about yourself. You're learning things about the world. You're having new experiences. You're kind of like shaping who you're going to be.
Building relationships with so many things, even in addition to people that will last you forever.
Exactly. So you're just like shaping your adult self, you know? So going through those years with those people was definitely like crazy. It was crazy because everyone was going through the same thing, and it's a lot of things.
Is it competitive internally at all?
I mean, I think we're really good at like the healthy competition kind of thing. I mean, obviously everyone wants to have a feature in a song, and everyone wants to be featured in the music video, but we really know how to work as a team. And a lot of the times it's not even in our hands. So it's like sometimes it's in the hands of our choreographers or producers or Simon or some things that we can't control, you know, but we understand it.
Sorry to cut you off.
No.
Did you feel like, and I just wonder this, like, because it's really interesting. One Direction, right? For example, One Direction was loved equally. It wasn't until after the band goes on hiatus that you can really understand the individual love and appreciation for each one, right? Because like when they were together, you loved all of them. And if you love Zayn, you also love Niall, and fans were almost to a certain degree felt uncomfortable sharing their biases. Do you feel like with 14 members,
18 now,
14 originally, 18 currently, you have the, like, are people there as a fan of all of you together? Or can you feel the allegiances and the biases that exist from the audience to the group?
I feel like there's definitely people that are there for the whole group, but there's people that just identify more with other members, you know? And obviously in the beginning, because nobody there had a bunch of fans, you know? So when we started getting the fans, we obviously wanted to be, everyone wants to be loved by your fans, you know? And there was definitely a moment where we were all like, oh, like this person's loved more. Like what am I doing wrong? Am I a bad person? Am I not excited? Am I not entertaining? You know, like there was a lot of
question things.
Yeah, there was a lot of like self-doubt that started just rising up. People are like, oh, maybe I'm not talented enough. But with time, we just understood that there's a reason why you like apples and why you don't, you know? Like, does that make sense? Maybe that's a bad example, but like,
I get it.
You know, and it's not like there's nothing wrong with apples, but some people like it and some people don't, you know? And we kind of like just started accepting that. So sometimes there's people that are just like so loved in certain countries, and sometimes they're not as loved in another country. But we do feel like there's all of our fans love us, you know? They're just sometimes know a little more about that person or that other member, but we definitely feel it. Like if I say that we don't feel it at all and everyone's like always the same, like that's a lie. But it's just like something that we learned how to live with, and everyone has their own like little support system across the globe. So that is awesome. We're never feeling like completely left out.
And that is a part of the strategy, right? Like each member has their community, but when they all come together, they build something bigger. Now, united.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. And it was so cool to go through all of this and see how our fans made friendships, sometimes international friendships, And yeah, they would just like do these little dance groups sometimes, like cover groups of us. And it was so cute. Like we actually united so many people, and it's really cool to hear them talking to us sometimes about it. Like, thank you for, like, I met my best friend because of you. It's just like really life changing. And when you get to see it up close, it's like the best feeling. I got goosebumps.
Yeah, that's like, there can't be anything like that.
Yeah, it's so special. That's why we're doing it, So nothing else matters. Nothing like no likes, no following, no. When we actually see the fans, that's the best part.
It's connection.
Why do you think the group is so popular in Latin America?
I feel like we're very warm people in Latin America. Like we're so open to,
and you try new things.
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
music. Like you all love the Jonas Brothers probably before America loved the Jonas Brothers.
Oh yeah. Brazil. There's like the meme. Come to Brazil because that's the first.
Everybody, come to Brazil. Come to Brazil.
Well, and if you go to Brazil once, they'll love you for fucking ever.
Exactly.
They're the best, most loving, kind people, and they'll show up to the airport. They'll thank you for coming through.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a long flight. They're really respectable, and they're great hosts. It's so true.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. So come to Brazil. But why are they saying that? Because they probably found the artist first. We're like always on the lookout, and we're really open to see what you got to give, And if we like it, if we really like the message, if we really like the music, if we really like the concept as a whole, then we're definitely gonna be there. They're gonna stand you. They're gonna be there at the airport, at the hotel, at the shows. They're gonna buy your merch. They're gonna do everything. It's crazy.
Well, did you do? What's the biggest arena you guys have played?
The Altice Arena in Portugal.
What is that like 50,000 people or something? 40,000 people? 20,000? 30,000 people?
I think at the time there was like COVID restrictions, but I think it was like 25,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
Which is a lot of people. Yeah, it's a lot of people. And there's so much coming that I can't say, but it's just like so many people, and there were so many concerts that it was just like 20,000, 30,000. It is mind blowing. But that was our concert. That was our own concert. We did play in a bigger venue, which was a stadium, but then it wasn't like a 9-nighted concert. We were just at the Special Olympics in Abu Dhabi.
Oh my gosh, I did see that performance.
Did you?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was crazy. So many people. That was like 70,000 people. I don't even know.
That's Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I know, man. Like stepping out into that stadium and like the wind on your face and all those people just crazy. And Nicole from the Pussycat Dolls had just performed, so I was just like, this is holy ground. I was just like, enjoy, because she was stepping here, It was really crazy.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know, I only know one member from Now United, Noah.
Noah, yes.
Yeah.
Noah Urrea. I told him I was coming to the show, and he's like, yeah, I've DM'd with him before. And
yeah, I see him out and about socially
Yes.
in LA sometimes.
yeah, he's a cool dude.
But do
He's
you
one of
live
my best
here?
friends. Well, this is breaking news, I guess. Yes, I do. I just moved.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, I do live in LA now. I'm in Angelina. But yeah. Yeah, and the apartment hunt has been brutal. But
Sister, I feel you.
yeah.
I'm in the process of trying to move, and I call like 4 places a day. I hear back from nobody. It's
Yeah. What's up with that? Like nobody responds. I'm like, why?
I just want to give. I want to give you my money. Just call me back.
Exactly. Like, don't put your apartment on Zillow if you're not gonna respond. But yeah, it's been just really brutal to find an apartment. But eventually, I'm gonna find a place to call home. And yeah, but yeah, I'm in the city now.
Welcome.
And crazy.
What made you want to move here?
Huh?
What made you want to move to LA?
My future.